Bill O'Reilly is going to give his take on the mass shooting epidemic in America. This ought to be good.
Some irresponsible pundits will blame this on guns, others on untreated mental illness, still others on a bad culture in America. But what this is really all about is freedom. There are more than 325 million of us living in the USA right now. We have freedom of movement. We have freedom to protect ourselves with firearms, and we have the freedom to act crazy without much accountability. Very difficult to get any mentally unstable person off the street because of freedom. Places like China, they can control violence to some extent because the Chinese live under government supervision. Government tells the folks what to do and when to do it. If you're a loon in China, believe me, you will be removed from society, and the ACLU will not be able to help you. But here in an open society, we tolerate all kinds of bizarre behavior, and a portion of any population is going to do violent things. There is nothing on earth we can do to stop those people. Nothing, that is, except give up our freedom. The mass killings at Fort Hood are unacceptable, and if I had a solution to them, I'd give it to you. But after covering the news for almost 40 years, I can tell you that random violence will always be with us, always. Evil human beings armed with freedom make that terrible scenario inevitable.
Mass shootings because freedom! No, Bill, that's a profoundly silly talking points. And it's not an accident that the United States has 32,000 gun deaths on average every single year when other free modern industrial nations like Britain, France, Australia, you go down the list, we've been over this before, they have less than 100 gun deaths on average every single year. How is there such a tremendous disparity like that? It's not this ridiculous, abstract, vague thing. We have freedom. They don't have freedom. No. That's not true. That's a caveman way of thinking, and it's empirically not correct. So let's break this down a little bit. What he says is, well, I mean, the Chinese government, for example, they live under... I mean, the Chinese people, they live under government supervision. It's not like us in America have that. We would never have that. You know, maybe something called the Patriot Act, for example, and the NSA collecting all of our phone calls and emails. What? We do have that? All right, so you already failed. Then I love the ridiculous false dichotomy he sets up where it's like, either we have freedom and pure chaos and everybody's getting shot up and we all die, or we have tyranny, but everybody's safe and you're comfortable. No, Bill, it's not just this, black and white, either that or that. There's a lot of area in between. See, what Bill is missing is that in every society, you give up some freedom. So, for example, a stoplight. Yes, a stoplight technically does take away your freedom to fucking put your foot down on the gas pedal and go 100 miles per hour whenever the fuck you want. Another example of giving up freedom, the FDA making sure your food doesn't give you salmonella. Yes, it does, infringe on freedom to have a government inspector looking over your shoulder at a food company. That does take away freedom. How about not being allowed to do libel or slander or, say, bomb on a plane or fire in a movie theater? That's a clear example of taking away free speech. All of those are clear examples of restricting free speech. So that they all take away freedom. There's always going to be, in a civilized society, there is a social contract. So the question isn't, do we have total freedom, which is anarchy, or do we live in a tyranny? No, the answer is, what shade do we get? It's a nuanced question. Where do we draw the lines, and what particular issue are we talking about? It's complex. You can't talk about it in these, quick, rigid talking points like this. So, we already agree in America that, all individuals have given up the freedom to own nuclear weapons. And is Bill O'Reilly in favor of, your average guy buying nuclear weapons on a Thursday afternoon? Of course not. He doesn't want regular citizens getting nuclear weapons. So he's violating his own rant right there, just in that very basic way. That, oh, no, I love freedom, and we're going to have some evil people do crazy things, but I love freedom, so let's stick with that. Okay, Bill, so do you want people getting nuclear weapons, individuals buying it whenever they want? No, I'm against that. All right, so then you're in favor of restricting freedom. The same thing with, he doesn't want people having RPGs or grenade launchers or biological weapons or Scud missiles. So freedom is already gone. It's just, where do we draw the line? So basically what all the intelligent people say is, well, look, man, we're not going to not allow law-abiding, regular people to, we're not going to come take away their guns. That's crazy. If you've shown yourself to be an upstanding citizen and pay your taxes and you do whatever with your life and you mind your business and you're just a patriotic American, by all means, of course, you can have guns. Nobody's coming to take your guns away. But yes, we are coming to take away the guns of terrorists. We are coming to take away the guns of people who are bipolar or schizophrenic, or have deep psychological issues. Yes, we should not, those people should not have guns. I have no problem saying that at all. Okay? How about felons? Somebody committed two or three felonies, and they were in jail their entire life, or whatever, for 12 years, let's say, and then they get out. Yeah, I don't want that person having guns. I do not want that person having guns. So what do we need? Well, in order to limit the number of deaths, well, we would need something like a universal background check, for example, which 91% of the American people agree with. You guys know me. I take it a step further. I believe in the laws of math. So I think that we should limit high-capacity magazines to 5 bullets, because if somebody's reloading their clip, it gives people time to tackle them if they're doing one of these crazy mass shootings. And that's actually what happened in Tucson. A lot of people don't know that somebody actually tackled the shooter in Tucson when he was reloading. So these are all little things that we could do to limit the 32,000 gun deaths in America that we have every single year, and try to get as close to the numbers of other nations as we can, the other modern nations, which have about 100 gun deaths on average every year. And here's the thing, man. Like, is there a little, grain of truth in what O'Reilly's saying? Yes, absolutely. Because guess what? We could have no gun deaths in America, but that would require actually banning guns and getting rid of all the 300 million guns that are in circulation. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think that goes too far. So again, the question is, where do we draw the line? It's not, let's have no guns, or let's have all the guns in the world, which is what we have right now. The answer is somewhere in the middle. Let's have guns, but let's be sane in how we set up our system to weed out the crazy people from getting it, and to make sure that the types of guns that people get aren't used specifically for murder and things like that.